tumepiga marufuku excavations kwa sites, all sites, especially those along riparian areas, with immediate effect. All excavations along riparian areas and all excavations of buildings, especially those that have gone close to their neighbors. All excavations have been stopped forthwith because the structural integrity of the buildings cannot be assured at this time. We have also halted all pending development approvals. All building development approvals have been halted for now until we're able to review all those that have been issued and that are continuing across the city. All citizens are urged to remain vigilant, to macho, take necessary precautions to safeguard yourselves and your property, especially those living near the river banks. Na nashukuru wananchi area kama Ruben, niona wananchi wenyewe wanaondoa mijengo ambayo wanajua yako kwa njia ya maji. Hao wenyewe wanajua na wanajiondolea. Tafadhali ni bora muweze kujiondolea kabla kuondolewa kwa nguvu, lakini itabidi tutaondoa, and that work begins and it continues to go on. We remain committed to addressing the challenges posed by heavy rains and flooding. It's a natural phenomena. The level of the rains we've seen. When the rivers burst their banks, we've seen it. And we're doing our best. Some of the structures begin immediately as we speak. That's why I have all the CECs and chief officers here, and the national government, we have the police to help us. Where the structures need to be cleared, they must be cleared, no matter whose it is. And that's why I have thanked those in the informal settlements have been more cooperative. But those higher up in Kileleshwa, in Lavington, in Kilimani, we will just have to use force, unfortunately, because it is about saving lives, and so we're going to do that. You're right, the matter has been perennial, because you see our drainage system over the years, has been constrained. We have a constrained drainage system. But with the work of the Green Army, that's why when you saw during the El Nino, there wasn't much flooding, because the water didn't reach the level of rivers bursting their banks. If you look at most areas that flood, after the water settles, it flows, and so the drainage is flowing, but the capacity of the drainage is what is constrained. What we're dealing with currently, the crisis now, is bursting of river banks. And the river banks is not a drainage issue; it is rivers, and it is encroachment onto the rivers. If you go along, and you see many of our rivers, the valleys are what the informal settlements went into. If you look at from the 1948 master plan of Nairobi, the areas that were set aside as buffer zones between the river and the higher areas where the richer people took, is where we have our slums and our informal settlements. That is where you have Madare and the depth of Madare Valley. That's where you have, Kibra. That's where you have Mukuru, along those valleys and the rivers. So the issue right now is not, the normal perennial issue that we have of drainage, but just the bursting of the banks of our rivers across. And that is why I've said we've halted all processes of development approvals for now, until we can review all of those that have been issued and where they are. Because we shall not allow any development upstream to affect lives downstream. It is not fair, it is not right. We've also said, and our enforcement is here, our building enforcement, all excavations and such sites, because of the rains, you weaken the foundation. I saw one photo in Westlands, where someone's excavation is right next to the wall of a neighbor. With this kind of rains, with this force, you completely weaken the structural integrity of your neighbor's house, and you cannot have a beacon-to-beacon excavation. That is not allowed. So we must enforce. Enforcement notices have been issued. There are buildings, for instance, in General Madenge, where they are actually encroached completely on where the drainage is. In as much as the building has been there for a number of years, we're dealing with today's problem. So we shall deal with today's problem today, how it needs to be done. That path of the water and the flow must be restored. There is no negotiation about that.
Inchi are crying when it has hit us. We must forget all the partisan politics, whether in terms of political parties or in terms of government, levels of government that we are in, so that we join together with wananchi to meet the disaster the way it is. Our response time in Kenya is still very, very low. We want to see top members of the Kenya police walking around and assuring people that right now is about 2 o'clock. when it will reach 6 in the evening, what will become of the wananchi and their property? That is what those women are saying right there. And they are wondering, and the clock is ticking. We want to see how much a deputy president empathizes with us. Just the fact that he knows that we are in problem. We are not asking for much. Some of us, we have consigned to our fate where we live in our socio-economic environment. But still, we are human beings. We just want you to be there, not give us money. But the fact that you're saying, boss, I am your voter, and I feel for you. That is all we are asking.
I want to sympathize, especially with women and children. Most of these people affected are women and children. We are asking the government to come forth and help us to also relocate these people to higher grounds, so long as we still have these rains. We are happy that the governor has come out. We need the Green Army. I'm seeing him putting on the Green Army. We want the Green Army to be everywhere in this city. Let us feel the effect and the impact of the Green Army. We ask you to support those who have been affected.
Katika Mathare, ile statistics or information niko nayo is that kuna watu zaidi ya 5,200 in terms of household. Hiyo ukipiga na household ya watu kama 5, you're talking about close to about 25,000 people wale wamekuwa affected. Kuna madaraja mbalimbali yale yamekuwa swept, they are beyond repair, and I am happy that the governor has said that there will be emergency intervention so that mambo ya kuprocure wafanye kwa njia ya haraka. Tuanze kuona madaraja haya yangu kama ile ya Tiga Bridge, DP Bridge, 4B ile ina connect mimi na utalii. Haswa bridge zote zile zina collect my constituency na Ruaraka zinatumiwa na watoto wakienda shule asubuhi, wamama wakienda sokoni, kama hiyo ya Mathare North Road kutoka John Saga ikikuja kuingia hapo Mathare North huko chini. Ile Gumba Bridge inatoka Mabatini inaingia kule 4A. Tunataka watu wetu wa cooperate na sisi waweze kuenda mahali itatengwa. We hope that tutaweza kupata facilities za serikali, either NYS ama monetary, so that we avoid kupeleka hawa watu wetu mashuleni. Mnajua kwamba shule zinafungua Monday na tunataka mashule ziwe mahali watoto wakikuja, we are not able to interfere with their learning. So thank you very much, Governor, and thank you very much, my colleagues, and we hope that our people can be patient and that help will reach, not just from the county government. We hope that help will reach also from the national government. Asante.